Hey, what's happening guys, Vignesh here, and if you've been part of the Tech Detour family for a while now, you would know that I've recently migrated from this to this, the budget king Xiaomi Redmi Note 4. Well, I know that there's a lot of Redmi Note 4 reviews out there which brags about the specs and those good for nothing speed tests. So unlike the typical review thing, today it's going to be me talking about the things that I noticed in the relationship with this dude. Well, the first thing that you would notice while buying this thing is that the hype around this phone has not yet settled down. Getting this phone from flash sale is really difficult even if it's been launched months ago. Leaving that aside, let's talk about the things I noticed about the Redmi Note 4, starting off with the build quality and design. The first thing that I'm not actually a huge fan of is how slippery the phone actually is. And as you all would have known by now, the build quality of this thing is a complete disaster. So you do want to protect your device by adding a cover and a tempered glass, for which you'll have to pay a little bit extra for that perfect edge-to-edge covering. And yeah, the 2.5D curve in this thing looks so dope, but what good it is if the screen is not protected. Let's talk about the performance and the battery life. As I mentioned before, I used to have the trash can Lenovo A606 as my daily, and after switching to the Note 4, my life has been a lot easier. Opening up apps and switching between them was so smooth, and I never had anything to complain about the performance with this thing. And to make things more interesting, I always get a constant 1.5 days of backup with the 4100 mAh beast in this thing. And for someone who's coming from a phone which needed to be charged 3 times a day, it's literally heaven. But one downside though is the fact that it takes ages to charge. I'll talk about that in a bit. Now, as far as the display is concerned, for me the 1080p display in this thing is so far the best that I've experienced. So no complaints about that. And yeah, the display is bright enough to use outdoors, but when it comes to the fingerprint sensor, I feel that it is a bit slow even though I'm experiencing it for the first time. And to add insult to injury, the fingerprint sensor doesn't work most of the time for me. And all the credit goes to my super sweaty hands. So I bought this thing thinking that I would be getting a good for nothing camera. I don't care much about those technical aspects of the camera, but what I can guarantee you is that it's not as bad as you think. After doing some editing with snap speed, I could get some pretty decent images with the Note 4 camera, which you'll be seeing on the screen right now. There's more samples in my Instagram page, so make sure you follow me there at Tech Detour. Before talking about the software experience, let me tell you one thing that you will probably find as a serious issue. Even though this thing doesn't heat up, it's an entirely different scenario when it comes to using this phone while plugged in. If you use it while it's plugged in, it gets uncomfortably hot. Plus, it takes almost 2 to 2.5 hours to charge. But for me, it's not a serious issue since I always get a guaranteed 1-day battery backup even on heavy usage scenarios. And I usually plug it in when I read. So the issues with the charging time and the heating is not a big deal for me. Now finally, let's talk about the software side. Well, to be honest, I was a big hater of these heavily skinned ROMs like MIUI. It needs half of the RAM to work and would use more resources to give us the experience. But from the moment that I started using this thing, I'm in love with the UI. From the small details like this dope animation in audio recorder to epic stuff like long screenshot, reading mode, etc., MIUI just nails it. And I didn't notice any lags or any kind of random freezes with this UI. So it's pretty good to have it. Again, it's just my opinion. When it comes to the default system launcher, I really liked it in the beginning, but the trade-off here is that it doesn't have a search feature in it. One day I was in such a rush to open the calculator and I literally had to check in all the folders because the search feature was not there. So Nova Launcher is what I use as a daily. And again, all that I talked about was solely based on my experience with the Redmi Note 4 as a daily. And I think that it's still a pretty good deal for 13,000 rupees as of now, given that you will have to be extra careful while handling the device and should be able to tolerate the longer charging time. If those things are deal breakers for you, you can either go with the Moto G5 Plus or the Lenovo P2. So that basically wraps it up for this video on my opinion about the Redmi Note 4, and with that said, I'm breaking it up for today and I'll see you guys in the comment section below.